Hey, hey, hey. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to Tainted. Okay, so for those that are just checking in or have never been here before, yes, I've changed the channel name multiple times. I just had to get into that little niche, something like that. Anyways, so I did make a post a while back and I stated that I was going to be changing up some things about my channel. Honor, welcome in. Um, it's good to see you. Good to see you. Uh, so I'm kind of moving a little bit away from like the true crime. It's so negative. It always has bothered me. I like I don't mind being an advocate for those that are in need, but it seems that a lot of my content towards DVSA or laws and stuff have always been so just law or so direct. It's not really victim centered. And so I'm moving more into the direction of the victim centered and what we can do to better ourselves and get ourselves back to um, where we need to be. So John Paul says, got to get the Trump out. Well, maybe not today. So for those of you, I don't know if, either of you that are in chat or anyone that may watch this video here in the near future, but America has always been one of the most obese countries there is. And it's the way we diet, it's the traumas that we have, the lack of judicial system and its productivity and getting things done correctly or in a timely manner, protecting our children, protecting you know victims. So a lot of that trauma can cause other health issues where you're not taking care of yourself as well. You end up gaining weight or have uncontrollable weight, or you could have been born with weight issues. John Paul says, I'm in Canada. That's awesome. A, is that what they say? A. Mm. So there was an emergency interruption today of your normal, broadcasting system in the Oval Office because they needed to address some things like, making weight loss medication for those in need, like that are on Medicare, veterans, uh, the elderly. I think they even have it for Medicaid patients. They are making it more affordable. What do they say? A? Oh, that's Australia. That's in Australia. I gotcha. Welcome in. I'm probably not gonna say this right. Elodia? Eloda, welcome in. Mob Rat. Um, so I'm going to play just bits and pieces of this video, but I did take notes during the actual live event. So as of April 2026, Medicare, Medicare and other governmental medical insurances will be covering things like Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, and semaglutide. And they will be sent out, and I guess in like multi-dose pens. Right now, we purchase our pens. They come 4 pens per box, and excuse me, the cost of those cash price is anywhere from 13 to like almost $1,600 per box, which is just like, oh my gosh, insane, crazy prices. If you don't have insurance and you want the actual single injectable pen. Now you can get them per vial through Eli Lilly Direct for Mounjaro or Zepbound. I don't think Mounjaro comes in. It's still trizepatide, but it doesn't come in the form of a vial yet that I know of. But I do know that Zepbound does come, and it's the same exact ingredients. It's just prescribed for different purposes for like sleep apnea, etc. But they are sending out for the government insured patients. They are sending it out in a multi-dose pen, like they do overseas. So a lot of other countries like Australia, um, England, yeah, England and other countries, they actually send them out in like multi-dose pens where it's more like your I do believe it's a very similar to their um what is it called? They're like their insulin pens that come multi-dose so you can use it as needed. So I do believe that they will be only in multi-dose pens. For Medicare patients, it will be only a $50 charge instead of that whole 1,300 to $1,600. Crazy. So there's also semaglutide, which is Wegovy and I believe Ozempic, and those run approximately like $1,300 a pen. Insane, insane. And if you think about it, like how many family members do you have or that you know have some sort of A1C sugar issue or overweight issue? It and to be able to get control of that, you can't just say, "Oh, just run off to the gym or just go walk more." For me, as a prime example, when I went to the doctor said, "You really should just get out and walk more and get more exercise." And I was like, "Well, I would if I could, but I couldn't walk at that point. I actually physically needed to get surgery done to even be able to walk." I mean, it was ridiculous. There's other medications like Trulicity, Mounjaro. Um, there's also this thing coming out called Trump RX. If you're not familiar with it, it's like Trump prescription, uh, kind of like what is it, generic RS or RX or whatever. So they are bringing the prices down. So from the for instance, like for the semaglutides, it's coming down from $1,300 down to $250. That is crazy insane. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. I know it's probably going to get flagged, but I'm going to share this video. I hope you guys get the sound from it. If you don't, just let me know in the chat. I'm going to share what he had to say today because this is huge, huge changes coming to our country as far as getting our country more healthy the way it should be instead of uh, everyone eating, things like all this pre-processed food and stuff. It's so bad for you. It's just really, really unhealthy. And I know there's some people that really can't um, buy things like and make everything fresh. I get that, but um, and they have no choice but to. Okay, so this is from CNBC just a few minutes ago. It just came out. So I'm going to share it. Let's see. Yeah, this one. And audio tab, share. So I'm going to add this to stage. This may interest some people. This may not interest some people. So if this does not interest you or you don't have family or friends that are really in need, then, it is what it is. Or, hey, you know what? Have them come check it out and ghost walks. Hey, geez, bud, that was a terrible Canadian accent. The Great Moose Hoosers. I'm going to share this with you. So let me know if you guys have audio for it.
Bringing drug prices down to levels that will be as possible. Tremendous cuts. 200%, 300%, 500%, 700%, a little bit more than that. So today I'm thrilled to announce that the two world's largest pharmaceutical manufacturers, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, have agreed to offer their most popular GLP1 weight loss drug. I call it the fat drug, remember? At drastic discounts. They're very effective drugs. And so far, I've never heard anything bad about them. I only hear good about them. It's pretty. Is there anything bad about them, Bobby? I haven't heard anything bad. Someday, maybe it'll come out, which will notify you immediately. But so far, I haven't heard that, including the drugs known as Zepbound and Wegovy, often called Ozempic. This is a triumph for American patients that will save lives and improve the health of millions and millions of Americans. Amazing thing. They are amazing. I want to thank Eli Lilly CEO David Ricks, a friend of mine. We've worked long and hard. He and I got this whole thing started in a way. And Novo Nordisk CEO Mike Dustar for joining us today. Great, talented people. They make a lot of money. I looked at the money, but they're entitled to the money because the companies are doing very well. Along with Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary Howard Lutnick. Do you take any of this stuff, Howard?
Not yet.
Okay, good.
So for those of you that are just coming in, this is about Eli Lilly and Nova agreeing with the president and lowering the cost of GLP-1s for thank you, Ghost Walks. Bringing down the cost of these medications. It's like if you guys remember, like there's many diabetic patients, and these are like diabetic patients, like youth, children, and their parents can't afford to get their medications because they're so extraordinarily expensive. And so they're trying to get it to where we have less health risks and whatnot throughout our country, because it has just, our country has gone to shit in a handbag. Just excuse my French. IYQ2. That I don't know. IYQ2. You have to remember these medications have been around for over 20 years, and there hasn't been really any damage done. I believe if in my personal experience is that anything can be abused. And so if people are out there abusing it or not taking it as prescribed or not making sure that their health is good enough to take the medicine, then damage can be done. But as long as all the doctors are on board and all of your doctors are working together to make sure that you are taking the medicine as prescribed, or that, say, hey, maybe you have an issue that you can't take the medicine, then they are aware of that and you're not prescribed it, because that's the only way that you're really going to have like really long-term effects or something that could tragically happen, like pancreatitis or anything that having to do with your like thyroid cancer, anything like that. So you need to have those tests done previous to even taking these medications to make sure that you can be a candidate for the medication, just in my opinion. But the medications have been around for many years, and they've been used for many years. So if there was a reason to believe that it would not be safe, I highly doubt that they would be releasing it like it is. You have to learn to curse in both languages.
CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz, he doesn't take it. Food and Drug Administrator.
He probably will now. The cost is going down.
Marty McCary, and Director of Medicare Chris Plump. And we have Steve. Where's Steve? Is he here? Head of Public Relations for the White House. He's taking it. The United States is just 4% of the world's population and consumes only 13% of all prescription drugs, yet pharmaceutical companies make 75% of their profits from the American customer. I would say that's...
You don't have to go, Ghosty.
Not so good, right? It's not exactly great. To address this chronic unfairness, I signed an executive order earlier this year instructing my...
I do kind of have to correct this. IYQ2 says the diabetics take a lot less of a dose. It is a higher dose that can cause problems for weight loss. That's not true. The lowest dose, for instance, on the lowest dose for example, on Zepbound is only 2.5. So there is numerous patients that can be on 2.5 and lose weight. It just depends on your genetic makeup and where your start and end point is. So for instance, IYQ2, she has been around since when I first started streaming, to where I ended up taking a hiatus because I was sick. And I put on, probably about 56 pounds in a very short period of time due to health problems that I was having. I have taken the medication. I have never had to up my dosage from 2.5, but it is just keeping things that are just genetically different with me now than they were before in check. And I'm only 10 pounds down from where I started from. So I cannot agree with that. I cannot say that everybody has to be on a 15 milligram dose to lose weight. That's not true. That's not true at all. It just depends on your specific needs and your genetic makeup. Back to the programming. If you had surgery lately, they ask if you're on it. Oh, okay. So the reason why they ask if you're on it. So what a GLP-1 does is it slows down your digestive tract. Shamish, welcome in. So what it does is it slows down your digestive tract to where if you're going to have surgery, they just have to have you off it for a week before surgery so that if there is food in your stomach that you don't, if they have to intubate you, that you don't asphyxiate yourself. That's why, for instance, like you go into surgery, they'll say, hey, we need you to stop eating on such and such a day. Or even if it's a stomach surgery, they'll completely clean you out 3 days previous to surgery. So it just depends on what the surgery is. But if it's a surgery that you have to be put under, the best solution for you would be to be off of it for a week. And that's exactly what any PhD would tell you, that you should be off it for a week so that your food can get back into a normal digestive system, your digestive system get back on track with its normal digestive clock. So I already have a slow stomach where it doesn't really move a whole lot real fast. But that was probably because of the issues that I was having with my vascular system anyway, previous to having my surgery. But IYQ2, I hope that answers your question. There isn't a lot of info on the side effects and it isn't looking good. So I guess it depends on where you look for your information. There's a place called On the Pen is really good. There's numerous places that you can look, including Eli Lilly's website itself. As far as your side effects go, the side effects are, again, it depends on the person. Mine have been very minimal, very, very, very minimal. My first dose on it was, I looked at food and I was all, ugh. I just didn't want anything. And then after a few days, it was just back to normal. And it's been back to normal since then. So yeah, and it works amazing. I tell you what, it doesn't just work. It's for those out there that have ever dieted. It's not just calories in, calories out. Oh, if you don't eat this much, or you have to exercise this much to combat how much you've ate. It's not just that. It also helps work with your insulin levels to where if your body is not processing sugar properly, it's then you're going to retain those sugars, if that makes sense. I am probably not the one. I am probably not the one that can explain this the best, as I'm still new to the whole thing anyway. But from what I do know and what I do understand, I can't explain like the things that I've gone through. Now there is some people that have had, if like when they up their dosage to from like the base dosage to a higher dosage, some of them will get an upset stomach. I think I posted it. Like if you have upset tummies, things like Tums works great. If you have like chronic bowel movements, I don't know how to say that in a nice way. It means that the dosage just went up too fast. And that's something else that they're researching for those that are having sensitivity to it, is just, maybe taking their dosage a little slower. I've never had to change my dosage in the 4 months I've been on it. So thank you, IYQ2. Yes, I am feeling better. I had abdominal aorta aneurysm surgery and they put a stent in there, and I've been able to walk and run and do things that I needed to do. It's it's been good. It's been good. I have to say, it's probably the new doctors that I got did an amazing job on doing the diagnosis and getting the surgery done in a very timely fashion. So I probably wouldn't be here if I would have waited and stayed with the surgeon I had, because he was like, oh, you just need to go get exercise. And I was like, and you need not to be a surgeon. That's how I felt. So let me get back to this because it's very interesting.
Administration to do everything in our power to implement most favored nations drug pricing, something that has been helped greatly by tariffs, because when nations refuse to do it, we should have put this in the case yesterday. I just say, well, if you're not going to do it, we're going to charge you a like amount of tariffs. And they immediately say, we'll do it, which means that Americans should pay no more than the lowest price offered anywhere in the world. So that,
With that being said, do you guys realize that the lowest price is like $150 in some places? $150, but yet us in America are paying anywhere from $1,300 to $1,600 for 1 month supply. That was insane. Now I go through Eli Lilly Direct, or I go through a compound pharmacy when my medical insurance decided that they weren't going to cover it anymore. So, hey, you know what? It is what it is. It all works. And I'm so glad that someone stepped up and said, hey, we need to do something about America's obesity problems. And some of these obesity problems are caused from trauma and childhood traumas. So it's not just like, oh, this patient just overeats. No, they don't think about the traumas that could have caused those eating habits or how they were raised.
you've heard for years the disparity where you'll pay $150 for a pill in New York and you'll pay $10 for a pill in London. Now you're going to pay $20 both, because the world is a little bit bigger than the US, so it goes up that way, but you'll pay $20 and $20. A tremendous advantage to our country after years of being abused by the world system. Already Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and EMD, Serrano, have agreed to drastically lower their prices for American patients. And today, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are joining the phenomenal list of the most exciting announcements. I mean, nobody's ever had announcements like, and this has to do with other pharmaceutical products also. But we're covering this today because it's such a big seller. I guess it's the number one selling thing there is.
He's also discussing compounds too. So the price, if you are getting compound trizipatide or semaglutide, those prices will be changing to accommodate the price change through Eli Lilly and 2020. Yeah.
Today. These are two companies that behind the groundbreaking weight loss drugs that have helped millions of Americans struggling with obesity live better, longer lives, everything else. These are the two companies that really broke ground until now.
Now think about it. So I was having severe cardiovascular issues since that. Yeah. How do you guys say it? Since the jab. I think it's the jab. They call it the jab. So since the jab, and like my legs, my aorta blocked off like 90% plus. And if you think about it, like the weight started packing on top of the already having a cardiovascular issue. Now, when I first got the jab, mind you, I didn't weigh that much. I was like in my normal weight. But after that, then the weight started piling on. Then cardiovascular issues started piling on. So if we can maintain healthy diets and ways of eating and learning to, say, hey, you know what? I don't need that stress in my life. I need to work on me. I need to work on my health. I need to eat healthy. I just need to be better for me, not for anybody else around you, but for me, like for you. For instance, IYQ2, you need to be better for you. Not saying you're not a great, amazing person, because you are, but I'm just talking kind of like in third person, just for you to be better for you, not for anyone else, not for a significant other. If you live longer and you have children, or if you're having obesity issues and you have children, you're going to end up with cardiovascular issues. You're going to end up with all other compounded issues. So in my opinion, this is probably one of the best things, like another one of the best things that our country has done in the most recent days. Like, to me, this is amazing. Okay, I stepped down.
Neither of these two popular drugs have been covered by Medicare for weight loss, and they've only rarely been covered by Medicaid. They've often cost consumers more than $1,000 per month, and some a lot more than that. Americans have been
1,600,
spending as much
200.
as 520% more for Zepbound and 1,400% more for Wegovy than patients in Europe. Think of that.
1,400% more Americans pay than in Europe.
1,400% more than a patient in Europe for the exact same box. And that ends starting today. The other countries are not happy with us. Now, I don't think they like me too much, Bobby, but that's okay. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are committing to offer Zepbound and Wegovy at most favored nations rates for American patients. This will slash the cost of Wegovy from $1,350 a month to ultimately $250 a month. $1,350 to $250. Did I?
1,350 to just like 350 or 250. 250. That's like less than 10% of what those that had to pay cash price. That's like less than 10% that they will have to pay now, starting April 2026, according to my notes.
Do a good job. They don't write about it. You know, they like to not write these things. And reduce, you think Biden could have done this? I don't think so. And reduce the monthly cost of Zepbound from $1,080 to $346.
$346.
In addition, they're both committing that future GLP1 weight loss drugs taken orally, which are currently under development, will be sold at no more than $149 per month. It's a massive, think of that. You go from $1,300 to $149 a month. We anticipate these new versions will be coming out in a very short period of time. All of these drugs will be available directly to the consumer at trumprx.gov. Trump, they want to use my name.
If you haven't heard of that yet, trumprx.gov.
Trump, it better be good. trumprx.gov. And I think it's turning out to be pretty amazing, right, us? Just as significantly, Medicare and Medicaid will finally cover the cost of these weight loss drugs for millions of patients suffering from obesity. Co-pays for Medicare patients will be as low as $50. This is tremendous savings. I mean, now you're talking about from $1,350 to $50.
$1,350. Their copay is now only $50 for those Medicare patients. Think about the elderly. They're if they're getting, what is it, like $1,300 a month, and that their whole check would end up going to their medication so they can be a healthier person. That was just unbelievable. Like, just, I can't believe that even happened. But again, you know, sometimes we've got to go through the eaves and to get where we need to be. And this is going to help out many, many Americans tremendously, financially, health-wise, emotionally. Think about the emotional damage that comes when people make fun of you, or, you know, they don't give you the respect that you need or deserve because, hey, you may be holding on to a couple of extra pounds, you know, and it's not even just a couple of extra pounds. It's people that can't really control how their bodies are reacting to the food they eat, and the gym isn't working. So, I mean, that's not fair to those that truly, truly need it and can't afford it. Just one moment.
This is tremendous news for the American seniors. And you all remember when I had 1/8 of 1% for the year. I cut it 1/8 of, and I was so thrilled. But now we're cutting it 1,000%, 1,200%. Nobody's ever seen anything like this. Nobody else could have done it, but I say that modestly. In addition, you think it was easy dealing with these people? It wasn't. You think it was easy saying, your drug, Mr. Eli Lilly, that we're selling for $1,300 is going to be sold for $250. You know the amazing thing, the stocks all went up. I mean, these guys they're fantastic. Because it's going to equalize the world. The world's a bigger place. and it's going to equalize. I was a little surprised to see that, but I'm happy about it. In addition, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk have agreed to provide all of their other medications to Medicaid at most favored nations prices. Most favored nations, meaning that you will pay the lowest price anywhere in the world. That's what you're going to pay. Whereas before they paid low prices and we paid, thousands of percentile ahead more. And to sell these drugs to all consumers at deeply discounted prices via TrumpRx.com. When is TrumpRx.com opening?
The site is open. It will launch in terms of giving people prices before the end of the year.
Okay, got to make sure it's successful. It's got my name on it. I don't want to be like so many others. I don't want to be like the train they're building in California, okay, which has about 15,000% cost overrun. Or the beautiful Obama building that he's building in Chicago for the museum, which is now shuttered up and dead. They got it up, and they couldn't sold at the heavily reduced most favored nations price. Most favored nations price, that's the best, because they have been thousands of percent lower than what we were selling in many cases. Furthermore, Eli Lilly is investing $27 billion. That's all? And Novo Nordisk will invest $10 billion. That's all? That's peanuts. In the United States to reshore.
He's like, that's peanuts.
Do a big domestic manufacturing job in the facilities they're going to spend. So Eli Lilly spent $27 billion. Novo is spending $10 billion in the United States. So they're building new plant and equipment. That's part of what will be $20 or $21 trillion this year.
So they're building these new facilities so they're able to manufacture these medications here in the U.S. and some outside of the U.S. Let's see here. So that is pretty much the slow and skinny. If you would like to watch the whole thing, please check out CNBC. They have it still on there. There's also a speech I do believe by, let's see. JFK did a speech also, and he also goes into explaining how America does not have control over our diet. As far as there's some people that do have the ability to, do home cooked food, and then there's others that don't. So, it is what it is. If you can, try to stay away from the processed foods. It's not healthy. It really is not healthy for you. It messes with our hormones and everything else. So, but I did want to share this. This was amazing news. I know there is a couple of people that I don't socialize directly with, but I still kind of watch, and I know a couple of them are on a GLP1, and it does do amazing things. So, if you do have an interest in it and it's something that has not been in your budget, guess what? It's going to be in your budget here soon. So, please, keep an eye on it. I know that things are supposed to be indefinite change by April of 2026. If there is medications, you can go directly to the manufacturer and see what they have to offer. I do have a live stream coming up tomorrow also on IYQ2. Much love to you. Long time no see, sweetheart. I miss my Kaylee too. I don't know where hers at. I haven't seen her today. I do have a live stream also coming up about a very, very interesting case, but I am moving more towards, health and wellness and how to deal with our traumas than more of the law and true crime stuff, because it's just really heavy. And as anyone knows that hangs out here on YouTube that watches true crime, you anything that you ingest that's negative, regardless if it's through YouTube, television, family environment, etc., it affects you internally, and then it it just takes a toll on you. So I'm kind of steering away from that and working more towards us just becoming a better and refreshed us. So I love you guys. Thank you all for joining me. For those that'll be checking in later, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Check you all out later.